So last episode, we really were focusing in on what can we do as professional real estate agents to help expand the size of our cup, become better at our job, really diving into working on ourselves, to making ourselves better for our clients, for our business. We also talked about the market itself and how, for a true professional, full-time real estate professional, it's exhausting right now because we're doing two jobs, right? Mm-hmm. We're really working really hard on ourselves to make ourselves better, but then on the same side, we're actually having to compensate for those that are not. Those that are not trying to better themselves and that are just kind of wading through the world. The Aunt Susie and the Uncle Joes that got their license to sell one house a year, that we're working on their behalf. So we're tired. We've worked on ourselves, and we're going to continue to work on ourselves. And all that takes time, or it takes time and energy. Most importantly, energy. It just sucks it out of us. And so it's important for us to, as we expand the size of our cup, that we fill it up with the good stuff. We fill it up, and it provides us the energy to do what we do, love what we do, and effectively go about the rest of our career in a real positive way. So that's kind of what we're going to kind of hone in on today is what can we do to add the juice, the energy juice to our cup.
Yeah, so I like to look at this as this is taking care of your cup. This is caring for your cup. And there's three things that I think of right off the bat, 3 R's, let's call them. And it's rest, recharge, and I'm going to throw another one in there that a lot of people, they think they do, but they don't. They do a terrible job, and that's reward yourself. We've come off an unbelievable year in real estate. I've heard this from so many agents. I did the best and the most I've ever done this past year. But one thing that we get, we just don't do a good job of is rewarding ourselves. And it's that rewarding that kind of helps you to get back at it. It's that, wow, I worked really hard to get to this point. Now, kind of what do I get from it? And it's not just kind of production stuff. It's what can I take? What can I give myself to go ahead and push forward? But let's
yep. A reward. Are you saying that a reward is a Facebook post of "Yay me, I did great"?
No. What I'm saying is what is it something you love to do? You push so hard in everything you do with your work. And I get it. A lot of people love what they do. They love their work. And they love everything about it. But at some point you've got to go, but I also love other things. I love to travel, or I love to be with my kids. I mean, how much time do people sacrifice with their families, with their children, and all that to be the exquisite producers within their business? Give some of that back. Take some of that because you love it and you need it, and that's something that you want to do. That's what I'm talking about reward.
Okay, cool.
So let's talk a little bit about the rest piece too first. So that's another thing that we're not very good at. How many of you feel like you need rest but know how to get it? That's what I would ask. And the first thing is you got to step back and you got to understand that it's okay to disconnect. It's okay to disconnect.
So I don't have to answer my phone every single minute of every single day?
I'm not saying don't answer your phone or don't contact people, but yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's okay to disconnect. I'm glad you hit on that. One of the things that I've always kind of thought about is, if you take the mindset of every time the phone rings, I'm picking it up because it's going to be a fire and I got to make sure I handle all these clients at the time they're contacting me, then you're actually making matters worse. A lot of times things will work themselves out, sometimes without you even getting involved.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, you're exactly right. I mean, it's we manage a brokerage of about 55 agents, and you can imagine how many highly productive agents that are dealing with really complex transactions. But a lot of these agents are a lot smarter than they give themselves credit for. And so when a tough situation comes up, the first thing they want to do is they want to call and get advice. And that's fine. That's what we're here for. But honestly, some of the best advice is going to come from within. And if you just give them, in kind of a different world, if you just give them the ability to think about it for 10, 15 minutes, they're probably going to come up with a good answer on their own. Maybe even better the one that you would be able to provide them if you had answered the phone right when they called.
Absolutely. So yes, going back to your original thing, if your phone rings all the time right away, don't think you automatically have to answer it that second. I would suggest you follow up fairly quickly, but if it's something crazy, it's okay. What I'm trying to get at is your time is your time. And you've got to have that mindset of your time being your time to understand and to care for yourself.
Absolutely.
From that standpoint. So what are some things that we can do to recharge? To get that, utilize that time, that resting time, and then to recharge. Again, going places, getting out of your environment to be in a different environment can allow this recharging to happen.
Absolutely. I was reading, earlier of things that you can do to rejuvenate, recharge, and it's kind of boils down to passion. Mm-hmm. Rejuvenation is really a passionate thing. It's not, we need to rest, but rejuvenation and recharging is about passion. And yes, we know you're passionate about real estate, but you have other passions that you have in your life. And you have to. If you're a one-dimensional person, it's that's a hole in your cup that's draining. You need more than one passion in your life. So finding out something that you love to do, what kind of hobby? What is there? A volunteering? Is there an organization? Is there a place that you like to go? What is it that you're passionate about? Figure that out and carve out time to dedicate to your passion, because it's going to do nothing but help you and rejuvenate your soul.
Yeah, this is the cycle. We've talked a lot about your why. Why is it you do what you do? That's where you start. That's kind of what gives you the gasoline, the motivation, the energy to get out there and bust it, right? So what is your why? Well, this is the cycle. Once you have done it and you've done all this, then you go back to that why, because that why is what recharges you.
That's right. For us, one of the things that we've recently done, and it was, not really a passion. It is a passion, but it was kind of a bucket list thing. Brian and I, and Brian, myself, and other brother, and father decided we're going to take a trip and go see spring training baseball in Florida. Did we have the time to do it? It was really difficult. We had just been off some other travel that were business related, and it was going to be a difficult time to get done. But we carved out and made time. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm more rejuvenated today because of that trip than I have been in a long time. It was absolutely phenomenal. We were able to focus on ourselves. We were able to focus on. We are passionate about baseball. We're Boston Red Sox fans. For those of you that are out there that are like Red Sox, and we were able to devote time with one another, talk about things other than real estate, and it really just filled my soul.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to do that. If you're, like you said, if you're totally one-dimensional, it's just going to drain you, and you just get burned out. You get to the point where, I just can't do any more of this right now. So you gotta be able to take away from, or pull yourself away from everything that's just pulling at you. And you got to be able to disconnect and to be able to reconnect back into it.
Absolutely. Okay, what else we need to do to help fill our cups?
So, I mean, I would say, like I said before, rewarding yourself. You've got to be able to, when you have a major accomplishment, or you hit goals that you strived for, or that you never even thought you were going to hit. How many of you hit goals this past year you never thought you were going to hit? I mean, you've got to be able to reward yourself from that. So actually taking the action of, okay, I'm going to take what I've done here and I'm going to deposit it within myself. That is the rewarding thing you need to do that's going to help you, like you said, recharge you, rejuvenate you. Your trip we took to watch baseball, it allowed you to recharge. That was a reward. There was a cost that was associated with that, whether it be monetarily or time-wise. There was a cost associated with that, and that reward has helped you as much as, and you and I talked about it, as much as we at the time just was, I don't know if I have the time to get down here. I've got too much to do. I've got too much going on. Da 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 da. We sacrificed that time to add into ourselves.
Absolutely. And let's want everybody to know this. There's anxiety that goes with rewarding yourself because it's not natural a lot of times. You conditioned yourself to work, and maybe do a little bit of rest. But reward is something that you haven't practiced. That is different, and in different there becomes anxiety. And I don't know if for me going on that trip there was a little bit of anxiety to start with, but let me tell you, as soon as we got there and as soon as we started to really let our guards down, it was fulfilling.
Yeah,
No question.
Yeah, I agree. We've got to be able to disconnect as well. Again, and we've talked about this a couple times, but there's so many things within our lives. You have the stress, you have the chaos, you have just everything going on. And these are, we talk about disconnecting from the phone. Disconnecting from all this other stuff also allows you to recharge. And there's more stress and chaos and craziness within our worlds, more than just the phone ringing. It's more than just business. And you've got to be able to disconnect from that. Like, you have to be able to disconnect from chaos just to understand there is clarity. So if you are trying to look for, okay, what am I looking for right now? You have to disconnect from all the stress and chaos to go, okay, where's that clarity I'm looking for?
Can take as simple as a 1 hour out of your day to get outside, leaving your phone in the car or in your house or in your office and going for a walk outside, taking your dog for a walk. I mean, honestly, how many things roll through your head when you're by yourself with nobody to talk to and it's just you and your dog or just yourself? How many good ideas come in a 1 hour's time? Massive. And it's the disconnection piece that allows those things to happen. Because if you stay in the fray, you're in the weeds. Staying constantly in the weeds is never a good thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say exercise is probably one of the best things, but when you mentioned the walk, and it just reminded me of a story. So, Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, and he's been very he's an advocate of this. He gets out, he walks for 30 minutes to an hour every day. And he said that's the most valuable time in his day. He comes up with more ideas within his time while he's walking than any other time of his day. And I just, that's something to just really keep in mind.
It's also a perspective thing, getting outside, seeing nature, seeing how much bigger the world is than what you've created in your head. It's much bigger than the four walls that you sit at a desk every single day. It's much bigger than the house that you sold last week, and just that perspective of where you reside in the world. It's important to keep that perspective as you move forward.
Yeah, I think you just hit on something profound there. I mean, you want to rest and recharge. Understand that your job and your business is not your God. You have to back away from it to understand there's a bigger, there's larger stuff out there.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, and as we've gone through the three R's that you've mentioned, and I'm sure it fits in one of those categories. But I think one of the biggest things that you can do for self-care and really, you know, building into yourself, is carve out some time to consume good stuff. And what I mean by consume good stuff, you can take that down the road of what you put in your body so far as food and whatnot. But really what I'm talking about is consuming good information. You've heard it said, you are what you consume. And if you're putting into your mind positivity, thought-provoking information, it's going to broaden you as a person. So carving out time to read or listen to books on tape, or just, you know, and it's something that's going to broaden your perspective, is super important, and is one way to turn that jug and fill your cup.
Yeah, I agree. Disconnect from your TV, disconnect from the news, turn on a book, open a book, turn on a podcast. I read via Audible, so I'm saying turn on a book. Those are the best things that are out there for you. Continue to feed yourself the good stuff. The bad stuff is everywhere. I'd even say, we talk about social media. Turn off your social media sometimes, because it's got some destructive features as well. Absolutely.
That is 100% connected when you're in the social media world. It's not all bad, but it's 100% not all good. That's for sure. So as we delve into the meat of our market, I encourage you to focus on yourself. Focus on your self-care, because at the end of the day, that action is going to be the difference maker in the success of your business. You may not think it. You may think it's just more time in my business, but I'm going to stop and say that again. The time that you take to develop yourself is going to be the difference maker in the success of your business.
Yep. I'm going to go back to the analogy of the vase and putting the rocks in. And you got the big rocks, the medium rocks, the small pebbles, the sand, and the water. And this is, y'all have heard this. This is a time management analogy. Your personal care time are the big rocks.
Yep.
If you don't put them in first into your time, into your day, you won't get it. I can promise you that right now. That's probably the most important thing you have in your day. When I say big rocks, I don't mean the most time. I mean the most important. And if you don't put those in, then you're hurting yourself.
Absolutely. Guys, if you can't take anything away from the Raising Real Estate Standards podcast, take this away. You are the most important piece of your business. Take care of yourself, because nobody else is going to. Until next time, take care.
See you.